Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. And we have a very, very special guest on today. Mr. Rudy Balat has found some time to join us today. If you're in digital marketing at all, you probably know Rudy's name. He's a leader in digital marketing. He has a digital agency, a leading digital agency called SocialQ. He's been able to carve some time out for us today. His company is very unique in the way that they approach their clientele, and that's one of the reasons we were so excited to get Rudy on the show today to talk about that. He offers measurable performance for his clients. His moniker is Digital Resonance Delivered, and I think you're going to learn a lot about that from Rudy. He's very energetic and very exciting. Rudy, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. You summarized very well what we do and how we do it, and I'm very happy to share my passion for advertising and marketing and the way I think agencies model have to evolve in order to serve better the interest of the new brands, new CMOs in this world.
See, that's most awesome, Rudy. And you're known for really becoming an in-house partner for your clients. And that's one of the things that makes your company, SocialQ, so exciting and so cutting edge out there right now in the digital marketing space. So let's talk about it a little bit. When a company calls you up, Rudy, or contacts you over at SocialQ, how do you sort of integrate what their needs are into what SocialQ is doing? And how do you make sure that you're delivering the best possible experience for your clients?
Absolutely. So that's a great question. The first introduction, the first conversation is the most important. I think the most genuine you are, the most ethical in the way you drive your new business approach, the better your relationship is going to end up. And regardless of the outcome of that first conversation, it's always going to be productive, right? If you end up realizing and from that conversation that you're not the best partner for them, or we have maybe someone to refer to. This is how you need to approach this industry now. Is if it's not us, it may be another partner, and indirectly somehow the wheel will turn. It's all about making sure if you decide to move forward, that relationship and that partnership will be long-term, solid, and a win-win partnership. So we start with asking the right questions, understanding the most important is the scale, right? Is like, what is the current scale of our clients? Like, what are your KPIs? What are you trying to achieve? What success mean to you, right? It's like talking to those brand leaders, and it's like, in 6 months from now, in a year from now, when you look back at this partnership, what is going to make you feel that it's been successful? And you would be very interested in the answer we get. And that depends on the profile of the brand leaders, right? Some brand leaders are going to have very financial focused KPIs, and some other will be more, I just want to work with great people that actually help us grow in terms of expertise, in terms of et cetera, et cetera. So it's, in that sense, always a very productive conversation. But in order for us to feel that we could be a good partner, we're looking into mid-size brands in terms of mostly their current in-house setup, right? We like to call it like the Shark Tank brands. Right, is we work with CEO, sometimes CMOs if they're a little bigger, entrepreneurs that had an amazing idea, either on a creative perspective or personal perspective, that we know it's going to be very disruptive, but they just don't have yet that full understanding of what branding means, what marketing means. They've heard about, they're very aware of social media, paid social, paid digital, but they really don't have the right expertise, because you just cannot fulfill and cover on all ends, and just they need that extension of their own team and tap into SocialQ to become that digital marketing arm. right? So we kind of a one-stop shop. We do everything from branding to actual paid media, robust, owning the ecosystem, but knowing how to really promote their brand and get digital acquisition. But everything is within an understanding of measurability. It's like we're not going to create only one great logo and leave you with it, or we're not going to do just a beautiful website. Everything is about understanding how we're going to interact with the audience, right? With your audience, what are the challenges related to your to the audience you're trying to speak to, et cetera, et cetera. So we have that full funnel marketing, but in a very not only data-driven, very data-driven, but not only understanding what are the new challenges into the society we're living in, especially after a pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. So they may partner with us only for one thing, but we will try to understand at least getting visibility on the 360 digital marketing footprint.
See, Rudy, I really like what I'm hearing, and you're known for asking the right questions at SocialQ to your clientele. And the way in which it sounds like you work is a very sort of exciting and interesting way, because at SocialQ, you're going to start with sort of what the clientele, what your clients want and need, what their customers want and what they're looking for and what their dreams and what they're aspiring for and to, so that you can then develop a front-end program to make sure that you're relating to your clients or customers in the best possible way. And then you layer that with a measurable performance or KPI, key performance indicator, and you bring this all together in a nice, neat package for your clientele. And that's very, very exciting. Now, you've got this idea that you are an in-house partner with your clients, and I really like that very much. Tell us how all that works.
So first, you need to, when you are someone preaching, right, that you are in-house, it comes along with many different ways to bring it to life, right? And it's not about only saying that, oh, we're actually going to be more dedicated or more caring, etc., etc. You need to also demonstrate the way you actually bring it to life. So first, it's in twofold, right? The way we bring it to life is operationally and strategically. Strategically is that notion of resonance, right? Resonance is to us the next level of conversion. It's not only about telling them that we're going to bring them an amazing positive return on ad spend only, or conversion, or great CPA, cost per acquisition. We're going to ensure that it's long-term with our audience. Like, it's not only about serving ugly ads that just convert because they just hitting the right audience, but also we want to bring the brand, right? And that tell them that we will care about their brand. The same way their in-house team would defend the value of the brand, not only for the sake of the performance that usually agencies, especially now it's very paid media, are going to focus on. So we are trying to bridge that very closeness to the brand, understanding the long-term, the longevity of the brand within the marketplace beyond just the performance. And then operationally speaking, it's like, how can we tell our partners we actually way more cost efficient? It's telling them this is how we come up with the budget in advertising. Everything is based on the rates, the people that work at the agencies, their background, making sure that they come from the same place that would actually put behind them a higher rate, and how we can at SocialQ sustain a lower rate internally so our scope can be at least 50% cheaper for the same deliverable. So how we do this is having the team internally buying into the same ethos, breaking the statu quo of over-engineered agency, completely disconnected from the reality of their clients, and having everyone buying into that thinking at SocialQ, so understanding that we may not going to have happy hour on a penthouse every week, or having clowns walking on the hallway every day, because I rather focus on making sure they get the right compensation, but also making sure we're not becoming completely overexpensive and overscoped towards our clients. And that's something the new brand managers are really buying into. Is like, it's not, our scopes are very clear. This is how we come up with that budget. It's not hidden behind lines of roles and everything. We have blended rates, simple conversation. It's hourly based or retainer based, and this is how we come up with that investment.
You see, I love what I'm hearing, because so oftentimes what happens is things get a little bit too complicated. And for the entrepreneur that's running a business, the last thing they need is a complicated, layered result that's hard to understand, or a complicated, layered plan of marketing that is just way too difficult to understand. They're so busy running their business that they need a partner like SocialQ that will lay it out for them in a way that they can understand, a way that's meaningful, and a way that they know that their brand is going to be protected. And you mentioned protecting a brand earlier, Rudy, and let's get into that a little bit, because that's very fascinating that you bring that up. When you mention protecting your client's brand, what does that mean?
So I think we need to get back to how that shift happened. So we're looking at a marketplace now, a digital marketing landscape, which is social media led, but not limited. And that's not only an expression, it's more understanding what does it mean. It's like social media was born out of a more ethical and genuine idea to give the voice and the power back to the peer-to-peer influence, right? We're talking about over a decade ago, when brand voice was the most important. If Coca-Cola said it, if any brands were saying their product is best, they were right, because that was the only visibility we had towards the product. Then social media was like, okay, let's build actual real community with real people that have tested the brand and can actually give real recommendation. So that was kind of pretty good from social media to have a stamp and say, like, actually the peer-to-peer the customer service needs to be prioritized now, because they have a voice. And then so it was about very organic, very creating the buzz, viral. So all the big agency invested a lot on creative, right? So you had very CCOs, chief creative officers that were in place, that were pushing beautiful ideas, right? And then you were hoping to create the buzz and go viral. That completely got disrupted by the algorithm changing about, I think, 6 years ago, when it became a pay-to-play, right? It's like, if you really want to get reach and exposure as a brand, you really need to play the game and pay for it, right? So completely monetized, completely criticized, because it was like, so meaning the more money you have, the more exposure you get. How completely non-democratic is this approach, going back to what is the organic spin to it? So you still have some sort of role into organic that we can touch base later, but now it's more about understanding, having a paid media and media planning and strategy going with it. So how do you protect the brand? What is still important is we went too far on that pay-to-play, meaning it was all about data, and as long as you were getting the right performance, you could basically push any type of content, less creative. So we ended up with a lot of ads being pushed with white background, very dry product. It was converting. So I guess the brand was satisfied, but then slowly building up some sort of resentment towards the media agency that didn't really get no transparency in terms of reporting, no creative reporting, only data. And you had those media managers, those marketing managers, brand managers were like, my brand is completely diluted. I want to now understand and get a report beyond just data. understanding exactly which ad performed best, which ad performed less, and for what reason. If I change the colors, if I change the messaging, how does it impact actual performance? So this is by defending that aspect at SocialQ when we have ongoing reporting optimization, but marketing managers reporting, not only media managers, which can really provide insight behind the performance. So this is how we practice what we preach, where we say, we will not only defend the performance, we're also going to defend your brand and the messaging, the voice, the tone, and understanding what works and what doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, it's easy to say it was better before. It was better before, or like when pay to play, but it also pay to play allows us to go deeper. It's the cheapest way to run a focus group ever. Before, you had to pay like focus group in person, and talking about COVID and the pandemic. Now the in-person interaction is over. You need to find ways to understand how your audience is reacting to your product, and no better ways than to do it through a paid media awareness, mid-funnel tactics, and not only conversion down the funnel approach.
You see, I love that. And that's one of the things that has made SocialQ such a powerhouse in the digital agency community is you offer this measurable performance. You're straightforward in your approach. You tell your clients exactly what they should expect after you ask a lot of the right questions. You reverse engineer it, so you're looking at your clients' customers and looking at their psychological profile to determine what exactly they want out of their experience. And then you kind of put it all together in a nice, neat package in a way that's very meaningful for your clients at SocialQ. Rudy, let's turn the page just a little bit, because there's going to be some younger entrepreneurs watching the show who maybe they have a startup and they're saying to themselves, gosh almighty, I hear what Rudy's saying. Yes, this I would love to pay, hundreds of thousands of dollars for media, but I'm just a startup. How do I get my foot in the door? How do I compete? Do you have some sage advice for those startup entrepreneurs on what they can do at the beginning of their business or the beginning of their company to kind of get their brand awareness going so that they ultimately can hire a company like SocialQ to help them with their performance?
Absolutely. So what we do is we have, the most important is to test paid media in a robust way. And robust doesn't mean expensive. Meaning how many CEOs, CMOs we talk to, entrepreneurs, and they tell me, oh, I've tried paid media, it doesn't work. And when we dig into it, it's like they built on their own, because they built on their own. They went to a Facebook ad manager, they built one ad and they pushed it and they put $150 behind it. And it didn't work because they didn't get profit or actual return that we're expecting or anything. Is like paid media needs to be, in order to really test it, you need to set it up. You need to plan it. You need to make sure you have ads, the right format, the right ads for the right step into the user journey. For instance, let's say you are a shoe company, right? You're never going to go after the first time, the first touch point with an audience with a discount and say, buy this shoe at 10% off. You're going to start by more a branded message, more about who are you, what is your brand, more video content. We know video is king now. And then as you see the engagement, you start retargeting, understanding, and really pushing and uplifting the audience to understanding your brand. And then you offer discounts or anything to actually convert. What it means behind this approach is like you need to plan it and making sure you have the right management behind it. You have the right ads ready to be pushed in order to say, after a 2 months or 3 months trial, paid media works for me. And usually we have a lot of our clients that take the insights and the reporting we do after trial and they go to investors, because it's the best way for them to say, this is the potential. This is how I can scale. You see, there's intent. There is that many people wanting to buy. And because of inventory or other reason, we couldn't go beyond, but you should invest in my company so we can actually scale together.
Yeah, I love that, Rudy. So with SocialQ, what happens is you get not only a complete digital agency working on behalf of your company, but where the digital agency business has gone is really, there's a large psychological component to it right now that's all data driven. Digital resonance is what you call it at SocialQ. It's digital resonance delivered, where not only are you providing measurable performance for your clients, but you're giving them a roadmap on the psychological and demographic profile of their clientele, so that when you put the right ads at the right time in front of the right people that they're trying to get, they also know that you're going to follow through with additional ads that meet a certain psychological paradigm that are going to get those potential customers to take an action step to do business with those brands. And that's one of the things that has made SocialQ one of the leaders in the space. So that's really great, Rudy. So Rudy, you have a great story. We do also have some younger entrepreneurs that are, watch this, that are saying, I have a great idea, or I want to get into business, and I'm watching Rudy Balat. He's built a very nice digital agency, but I want to learn something from Rudy about how he started, or did he ever skin his knees before he kind of, got going into the big leagues? Like, can you give a little motivation about how you started and how you got to becoming one of the leading digital agencies at SocialQ?
So absolutely. So I think it starts with an idea, with a belief, with an idea, with a passion, with seeing something not going well or not happening as it should, and fix it. It's about fixing or creating something based on a need. So if you fix something, it's because there was a need initially. I think that's kind of the starting point. And the way I started is, my background is mostly on very large agencies, right? And my background is in account strategy operations on the agency side. And basically, it's the outcome of 15 years of frustration. While I deeply grateful, and I have really strong still relationship with those big agency, big groups with amazing people and the network I've been creating, I was feeling that there was space for an agency to service differently, especially as we keep hearing, what is the future of advertising and servicing, right? I hear it every day. It's like, don't you think it's going to be, what is the future of it? But at first, first you need to understand who still may need an agency to help them. And it's also a lot of experience working with the clients. And I was on the client side briefly for a global brand. And I was like, this is an agency I would hire. This is the profile I would go after. This is what I'm missing internally. This is what I will never get when you've been giving your marketing budget on a client side. Sometimes you don't have the money to hire 3 people, right? You have 1 full-time, but unfortunately, if you want to really test paid media or have a full branding and you have a limited budget, you could go to an agency. You cannot hire a media person in-house, a creative person, but also a senior because you need expertise, because on the client side, you have many other fish to fry. So I would go after an agency that really strategically and operationally tells me that they could really operate as an in-house team, that I don't have time to go to 3 different agencies. One does creative, one does media. I need to go to one shop that really makes me feel that they have enough expertise and hybridity for me to invest on. So the way it started is that it came out also opportunities. SocialQ branched out from another agency that decided to focus on some aspect, and just always keeping good relationship, regardless of where you go, how you go by it. It's also being very ethical, because your network, especially in the servicing world, it's everything, right? I never define myself as a salesperson, as going after the sales or anything. I just come out of, I believe in what we've created at SocialQ. I think there is a lot of value we can bring, and the performance we've been bringing, especially in Q4, to our clients, that I think would be super valuable to a lot of clients. And I just believe in it. And this is the way I approach new business and everything. So my recommendation is, you got to feel that you have something to fix or something to create, because that sometimes will be the only thing you're going to have left when you hit challenges, roadblock, when people are going to tell you. There is going to be a lot of devil advocates along your journey. Never listen to them, or only listen and take what has to be taken and heard, to digest it and filtering out. And anyone who tells you what is your 5-year plan never had created something. Your 5-year plan is to make sure your bases are covered, that you have, let's say, a 6 months coverage, but you're believing in the way you approach things, and you have people believing in you, and you have enough ground and enough experience to fall back into different aspects of your business. And you need to just believe in what you do, because no one will believe more on what you do than yourself, and will be able to actually bring it to life and grow it.
You see, I love that. So Rudy was engaged in the business, working for other people. He saw an opportunity. He figured out something that wasn't being provided. And he said to himself, if I can provide all of these things that I wish I had right now, I could build a great digital agency. So he went out and did it. And what Rudy's saying is, along the way, you're going to meet some dream stealers, people that want to steal your dreams from you. And for the most part, you don't want to listen to your dream stealers. But on the other hand, there is wisdom in listening to people that have wisdom about what you're doing. So you want to get good, sage advice from good people with good wisdom about what you want to go into. And then at the end of it, to wrap it all around in a nice, neat bow, Rudy believes in what he does, because he knows that at the end of the day, it's his belief that's going to shine through for his customers and his clients, so that they can feel that passion through the phone, or when he meets with them on Zoom or in person. And that's been one of the amazing things that Rudy's been able to do to gain the level of success that he's been able to gain. So Rudy, this has been phenomenal. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. You've been a real delight, and I've been trying to get you on the show now for some time. So thanks for coming on the show. For those people watching that want to reach out to you, Rudy, how do they reach out to you? How do they engage with you? How do they start the conversation to have your company start to look at becoming part of their company in the digital agency space?
So our website, socialq.us, we put a lot of effort in our website, because it starts with us, right? To be able to reflect what we do in a clear way. We know the attention span of anyone browsing is not extensive. So we want to make sure people get what we do, our high-level approach. We have case studies that really show how we approach the partnership. But also we put a lot of love in our Instagram. So at SocialQ Agency, it's really the team putting a lot of effort in the content we create, showing thought leadership, also bringing the culture we have at SocialQ, bringing the fact that we also are a very diverse team. When we talk about resonance, is also digging deeper, understanding that we live a century, like we live a new decade we need to approach targeting in a very different way. We need to be very authentic, and that also start with who you're working. And within SocialQ, we have people from all horizon, all experience, and I think it's very beneficial. So we also try to bring this to our handle on SocialQ Agency on Instagram. DM us, it's me included. That also replies to DM, and we're very happy to start a conversation. Look at the content we posted. We have many different type of content, and we love to interact with our community, etc., etc. So website, Instagram, and we would love to welcome anyone for 2021, or just have conversations and be able to support anyone who is interested.
See, that's awesome. And for those people thinking about it, I highly recommend you going to the SocialQ website or the Instagram. On the SocialQ website, you can see all of Rudy's team. It's a very diversified group of experts that will help you with your company, which I really love. And also the case studies are absolutely outstanding. Really amazing work you're doing, Rudy. I wanted to thank you and congratulate you for your success. And thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for your time, Andy. Very much appreciated. Great conversation.